Hello! In this tutorial I'll teach you how can you create new business logic services through the page editor. So let's say that you have an HTML element that you want to trigger some specific action to do something. So you can do that by calling a specific business logic service, but that service is not yet created. So I'll teach you how to do that through the page editor. So let's log in our framework. Let's choose one of the workspaces, doesn't really matter because we are working on the page editor. So let's select on the corresponding project, let's disable these tours, and let's select a specific page. It can be the schools page, which comes by default with the framework demo. So as we can see here, we have the page editor, which basically shows this interface which were built automatically when in the previous tutorials we just drag and drop these table schools into the content regions. And automatically the system created this interface and created all the resources and all the actions and all the business logic services for us. So basically what happens is that when we click in the specific buttons, we can see here in the properties of that item that we selected in here, we can see a property called dynamic widgets, which contains the resources that we can basically trigger according with a bunch of actions on page load or when I click in the button. So there are multiple ways to trigger resources, and so basically the way to correlate specific resources to the type of the event of each element, it is through this resource option here, by filling in here and choosing the corresponding resource. So in here, since the system already created automatically, we have here a bunch of resources already created. That's basically these resources are in here in the main settings in the resources tab. So the system creates this automatically. But let's say that we want to create a new resource. We want to have load a new resource based in some new item. So basically drag and drop a new item here, we select that specific item, and then there are multiple ways to call a resource. So one of the ways is to go directly through here and click in this edit pencil, that will open this pop-up, or we can go to the item itself, to these three dots items, and click load resource option. And in this option it will open exactly the same pop-up, where in here we can select one of the existing resources, or we can add a new resource. And we have multiple resources that we can add, or we can create resources, ask the system to create a resource automatically based in some selection that we make based in a table. So we can select here a specific table from the database, and we can say, okay, get all the records, get the specific record, create the logic code to add a new record. So we have a bunch of options here that the system will do that for us automatically. So create all the business logic services and all the other components necessary, so we can have this option here available for us. So this is one way of doing it, ask the system to do this automatically. Another way is to call one of the existing ones. So I can call a specific business logic service that already exists, or I can call a SQL query that already exists, or I can call a specific method or function, or I can call an API from a third-party server. So I have a bunch of options. So let's say that I don't have anything created. I want to call a business logic service and I don't have any service created yet for the action that I want to do, and I want to create a new action. So how do I do that? Through the page editor. So there are multiple ways of doing that. One of the ways is through this panel here. Go here to this icon here, and automatically it will open all the corresponding services available that I already have in here, that I can choose one of them, or I can simply click in this button here, put the new name of the service that I'm creating, click OK, and automatically it will open here the low code editor, the low code diagram, so I can type the logic of my new business logic service that I just created. After I type here and I create my own logic, so this is a low code diagram where I have my widgets in here, or my tasks in here, but I just need to drag and drop them into the canvas and create my own diagram. After I finish, I just need, by default the system save all the diagram, but when I finish I just need to close this pop-up and automatically the service it will be available in here. So the BBB, which were the service that we created. So then I just need to click update and automatically all these fields it will be filled for me automatically by the system. After I have my action in here field, I just need to click update and automatically the system will create the corresponding resource for the specific element that I need to trigger. And then I just need to fill these other options to say, okay, I want to trigger this when the page loads. Okay, and basically that's it. All these resources that we created here basically was added in here too. So if we go here, I can see that he created a new resource here that will call a business logic service, and the business logic service it is the BBB, which was what we created. We can do exactly the same action through here, but in a manual way. So this is a simple way how to show you how you can create HTML elements and convert them to dynamic data by triggering the resources which are basically, so it's this one, okay, resources which are basically trigger actions that can be triggered based on an event, and resources that are defined in here in the resources tab, and resources that can have multiple types of resources. We can call business logic service, a SQL query, a function, a method. We can call some external API service, whatever. So we have a bunch of types of actions that we can use, and that's it. So this is just to showing you how easy it is to create business logic services through the page editor. Currently we are in the simple workspace. If we go to the advanced workspace, is exactly the same. We can do exactly what we did in the page editor. We can do it through here too, through the page editor. Additionally to the page editor, we have here the logic bar where we can create it directly the services through here, where I didn't need it to go to this part that I explained you. In here we can do that faster, so I have direct access to the methods that I can add new business logic service or that I can delete them. Is exactly the same, so, or I can edit them. Is exactly the same steps, the same way of doing of creating new business logic services. And that's it. So thank you very much.